Cody, what does it say about this club that you guys get your first run in the fifth, your first hit in the sixth, and then really get things going in the sixth inning to make it happen when it seemed like it wasn't going to go your way to start?
Yeah, just a resilient group. 1 through 9. I mean, we got CT hitting in the 9 hole. So it was, we felt like it was a matter of time. Obviously, we'd like to get on the board earlier, but that's baseball. They had some good arms today, and it's not always easy. So we grinded, and it was a good team win.
Cody, overall, 9 pitchers for the San Diego Padres used today. Obviously, they would have loved to have Clevenger go deeper into the game, but because of that injury, he comes out early. As a batter, how difficult is it to get adjusted, perhaps when you know you're going to face a new guy every single at bat?
Yeah, it's definitely different. Probably harder a few years ago. I think throughout the season we kind of see a few games like that where the starting pitching's down in the middle to late season. So we do face bullpen days, and we kind of had an idea that it could potentially be one today. So it's yeah, it's what it is. What it is.
What happened there in the fifth inning, the error on Cronenworth to be able to get you safely to first base and score that first run, does it just continue to improve or impress upon you guys to just run out every play and wait and see what happens, forcing the defense to make a play?
Yeah, for sure. I think in that situation for myself, I just wanted to put the ball in play. Garrett Richards had some really good stuff. Um, Putting it in play in that situation was a win, and just try to bust my tail down the line and make anything happen.
Game one is so important as far as making a statement. How pleased are you with the fact that you guys were able to grind this one out and get game one of a 5-game series with no days off?
Yeah, it feels really good. Obviously, game one's always big. Um, Feels really good. It's always nice to get game one under the belt, especially when you get a win.
Okay, thank you.
Next question's from Harry Castillo. Go ahead.
Hey, Cody, who came up with that thing you guys do with your hands after you guys get hits that kind of fall in?
CT, I think in 2017, I don't remember exactly what happened. I think he had a few hits where we say like our thumb fell off, and it kind of hurts when you get jammed, and you just kind of shake it off, and just kind of been our thing for the past few years.
And just off that, how important you mentioned putting the ball in play. Is this a point of emphasis playing at this ballpark with how this ballpark plays to put the ball in play and just making things happen?
Yeah, big ballpark. We hit some balls today. We hit pretty well. But we're just playing. We're playing baseball, man. Obviously, putting the ball in play is huge in any game, in any situation, and we were able to do that today.
Did you think Pollock's ball was gone?
I did. I put my hands up from the first base view. I thought he got it. Looked up. It was 95 off the bat, I think. I was surprised that it stayed in off the bat.
Thank you.
Got time for one more. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hey, Cody, kind of along those lines, was it one of those that once Betts got that first hit, it felt like, okay, now we can kind of get going?
Oh, yeah. I mean, good at bat by CT, Mookie doing what he does, and then biggest at bat was Seager getting that run in, doing his job against a tough lefty. And, our whole lineup, obviously wasn't the way we wanted to hit, but we grinded and we came out on top.
Thanks, Cody.
Yeah. Oh, Bueller! Oh, Bueller. It's an honor to go before you.
Walker Bueller now available.
Let's fucking go!
First question's from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead.
Walker, such a pivotal moment there when you're able to strike out Grisham to get out of that bases loaded jam starting at, when you're behind in the count 3-0. Can you just walk me through what's going through your mind at that point to get out of that jam?
Yeah, exactly what I've told you guys previously. I think, that felt like Atlanta to me, and I'm sure it did to everyone watching the game. So, what? What's going on?
It was the PA announcer talking. Go ahead.
Oh, no. So, no, it felt like Atlanta to me. That moments will speed up and things like that. And luckily, I feel like I had been there and failed before and kind of learned from that and got lucky and made some pitches and got out of it. But, I honestly, before you guys ask anything, I can't – it's hard to fathom what Dustin May, Victor, Trinan, and then Kenley did. to come out and shut them down like that is it's a testament to what we do here, and you know I got a lot of pride being a part of this.
Yeah, they're incredibly impressive what they were able to do tonight. You had mentioned last time we spoke that you do learn more from your failures than you do your successes. When things aren't going well for you mechanically, how do you force yourself not to speed up and get going too quickly?
You know, that's the miss, right? If something's gonna go wrong, I'm gonna be too quick, and you know, just got lucky to get out of that inning and kind of settle in a little bit more. Obviously, the third was okay, and then got out of the fourth somehow. So, you know, it's something we work on, something I'm always gonna do. But at the end of the day, I want to be aggressive. So, you know, I think that's gonna be my miss or my fault for the rest of my career.
You're not always going to feel great, Walker, whether it's physically or your stuff just isn't there. How comfortable did you feel tonight overall?
Physically, I felt great. You know, I think the ball was coming out of my hand well. I just missed a lot with it. But, you know, I'd rather feel bad or feel really, really good and move forward positively. And, you know, it is what it is. Obviously, we have a really deep and talented team. And, you know, we just keep rolling with that and see what happens.
Thank you for your time.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Walker, you just touched on it, but how much was, you know, your command trouble blister related? How much was it just being off?
I don't know. You know, I think sometimes you miss a bunch of times in the same spot and you don't know why, and you want to figure it out quicker than you did. But, you know, at the end of the day, we won the game, and that's all I really care about.
And in that one inning when you throw, I think it was 33 pitches. Are you thinking about the blister? Are you
No.
checking out? And how does that
Nope.
look as you go?
Nope.
Thank you.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
And Walker, how much were you missing by, and how much were you maybe having a little struggle with Lance Barrett's strike zone?
You know, everything looks like a strike from the mound. So, you know, it is what it is. I think, obviously, if I look back, I'm sure a lot of those were balls that from out there I thought were strikes. But, you know, that's part of this game, and I think it's a beautiful part of the game that there is, you know, a human back there making a decision, and at the end of the day, like, he's an umpire and his call stands. So I just want, you know, try and compete, try and get back in the zone, and that's about it.
Thanks.
We got time for one more. Go ahead, Kerry.
Walker, relief pitchers always kind of have this kind of field goal kicker kind of life. You're damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't. But this bullpen has done extraordinary things this year. Can you talk about just how confident you guys are in that unit?
Do what now?
How confident you guys are in that
in the bullpen
bullpen unit?
Shit. I mean, have you guys watched him, man? Dustin May has been a starting pitcher for us all year. You know, I remember Victor Gonzalez being a starting pitcher with me in 2016. All of our guys have come up and thrown a lot of innings and got a lot of people out, and obviously Trinan's had a lot of success in some other places, and we're fortunate to have him. And then Kenley, I mean, Kenley's Kenley. So, you know, at the end of the day, you hand the ball off and you feel good about what's going to come out of there.
Thanks, Walker.
Thanks.
Justin Turner now available. First question's from Alana. Go ahead.
Justin, Cody spoke about it a little bit earlier, but the resiliency of this club when you guys get your first run on an error there in the fifth, and then you finally get the first hit and things get going for you in the sixth. How much of this is just experience, knowing that you guys are never really out of time?
Yeah, you know, I think we didn't get a lot of hits early, but we took great at bats and we made those guys work. We took a lot of walks tonight, and when our offense is at its best, you know, we're walking as many times as we're getting hits. So did a great job of staying in the zone for the most part and getting on base. And like you said, that belly play, just hustling down the line, putting pressure on the defense, forced a bad throw. And, you know, once we got that first run, I think it kind of like settled us in a little bit, and we took good at bats all night.
There's certainly no lack of respect that you guys have for the Padres, but when Clevenger unfortunately has to come out early because of an injury, you have a guy making his major league debut. They use 9 pitchers. You guys are National League West champs 8 straight years. Do you feel like you have to win this game?
I don't know if we have to do anything, but obviously we want to win them all. So, we talk about taking it one day at a time and doing whatever we have to do tonight, whether that was facing, 9 different pitchers. I think I faced 5 different guys in all 5 at bats, and essentially going through, unfortunately, with Clevenger, flaring up there, essentially being a bullpen game. But to have to win, I don't like that. But obviously, we're going to do everything we can to win every game.
Walker was, admitted that he didn't necessarily have his best stuff tonight, but he battled 95 pitches for him, but your bullpen gives up 1 hit. It was asked of him earlier, how much confidence do you guys have in the work that your bullpen can do?
Yeah, we've had confidence in those guys all season long. They've been outstanding for us, and, like Walker said, he didn't have his best command tonight, but he just gutted that thing out and kept it close. And I don't know, I think it was maybe the 2nd or 3rd inning with the bases loaded, and the wheels could have fell off there, but he dug down and climbed all the way back from that 3-0 count on Grisham and ended up punching him out, and that was huge. I think if you ask Walker, he probably would have liked to have been a little bit better, but he was plenty good enough for us to give us a chance, and then turn it over to our bullpen with D. May and Vic and Trinan and Kenley just doing what they've done all year, and that's be great.
And JT, finally for me, Muncie's ball and Pollock's ball looked like they were hit to Dallas. How important is it to keep the ball on the ground here and just use the gaps to your advantage?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think keep the ball on the ground. I think they hit a couple balls pretty good that probably in Dodger Stadium are homers, but we hit a few homers in the series earlier this year here, so you can hit it over the fence, but it's not about hitting home runs. It's about hitting balls hard and taking good at bats, and eventually, we broke them down. We found some holes, and it actually happened to be the not so hard hit balls that resulted in more runs for us.
Next question's from Jeff Sanders. Go ahead.
Justin, do you feel like with your team's depth, the way that way the Padres pitching is kind of on the ropes right now, that you're in a good position for your team right now?
Yeah, I think that we're in a good position no matter who we're playing. We like our guys. We like the quality of at bats that we put together 1 through 9, and even guys coming off the bench, can put together quality at bats. So it's always our goal to get into teams' bullpens, especially in the postseason. Try to get in the bullpens as early as possible, and make those guys have to earn a lot of outs. And but as the series goes on, you get those guys out there over and over again. You wear them down. You end up getting more mistakes. So tonight was big for us.
Do you see their mood changing at all as Clevenger leaves?
Obviously, anytime a guy gets hurt, you hate to see that, and definitely hope nothing's too serious for him and his arm. Obviously, he's one of the best pitchers in our game, so that's tough to see, and I just hope he's all right.
Thank you.
Next question's from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Justin, just wondering how it was to play in front of family members.
Yeah, that was cool. It was their first game live of the year, so obviously this is a beautiful ballpark. They got a great little setup, and we had our family down the right field line. The Padres had their family down the left field line, so it was nice to hear some cheers and see some faces in the crowd, and I think it was good for the players, the coaches, and for the families as well.
And you mentioned earlier that you guys have played here. You guys played here during the regular season, but with the roof open, did it play any differently? Did it suppress fly balls at all?
Well, if you ask AJ and Muncie, they'll probably say no.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
That's it? Yep. Oh.
Gabe Roberts now available. First question's from Alana. Go ahead.
Dave, in your opinion, what's the bigger play? Walker Buehler being able to strike out Grisham after he was behind in the count to get out of that bases loaded jam, or the eventual work of what your bullpen was able to do?
Man, it's a toss-up, Alana. I just think that Walker, after that second inning, to come back out there and give us two more to shorten the game, what was huge. And the complexion of the game would have completely changed if he couldn't have even got through that fourth inning. But what the bullpen did tonight, just a big lift. And we kind of offensively, we weathered it and just continued to take good at-bats and broke out. Put up a crooked number, and we just added some points. So it was really good to see. Great baseball game all the way around.
Speaking of weathering it, Weathers comes in to make his major league debut. I'm not certain how much of a book you have on this young man. Hadn't really pitched above Double-A. How difficult is it to game plan for 9 different pitchers in a ball game?
It is. It's difficult, and it's as far as Weathers, it's good to see. I mean, just a quick ascension. I played against his father, and so there's good pedigree there. But for us to just keep our composure and every new arm that came in, just have a plan. And I really thought 1 through 9, everyone that took at bats tonight, I just really thought they had good plans tonight.
Dustin May, Dave, 6 up, 6 down. Did you kind of have to treat this as a side session so you can have him available if necessary on Wednesday?
Yeah, that's kind of, to have Walker going, not knowing how long he's going to go, but then with Clayton going tomorrow, I think the idea was for Dustin to take on a run tonight, to have him available for 3, and we'll figure out what capacity, if it's a start or come out of the pen or whatever, but I think that was kind of the idea behind it.
Thank you.
Next question's from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, how much do you think Buehler's command trouble was due to his blister? How much was it just being off?
I think it was just being off. I thought that he found his curveball later in the game, and I thought the fastball was good. I just think sometimes it just has too much depth, and he can't just kind of keep the trajectory or the plane. But I thought he threw some good cutters in there. And Walker, it's just you just can't quantify the compete. And when he needed to make a pitch, he did.
Would you have gone to Trinan there if he didn't get Grisham?
I think it was, I think Trinan was right there in the mix, and that's something where, again, it just could have changed the complexion of the entire game.
And I think they stole 3 bases off Buehler and Smith. Did you notice anything that the Padres are picking up on or anything like that?
No, I just think that there's a certain part in the sequence where Walker's trying to make a pitch. One of them was a 3-0 count. The other one, we got a called strike on a swing and miss. I don't remember the third one, but I think at times Walker just realizes that he's going to get a little bit slower with the delivery just to make a pitch.
And lastly, for me, we talked a lot about the ballpark coming into this with the roof open. How did it play?
It played big. I thought that, we mixed in 10 walks, but we hit some balls really well. I thought the AJ ball could have been a homer in a lot of different ballparks. I thought the Muncy ball could have been a homer in a lot of ballparks. We hit some balls really well. So, we'll see. I guess it played fair.
Thank you.
Next question's from Dylan Hernandez. Go ahead.
Dave, given how much they used their bullpen in the previous series and how much they figured to have to use it in this series, just how important was it for you guys, to win this game in terms of maybe kind of cutting their legs off? Just it kind of seemed like they were, kind of like one realistic route to victory was to kind of win this game.
Yeah, I think that, if you look at the first 2 games, for them to try to get one and obviously they exhausted a lot of arms tonight. By matching up, but I thought that, I thought we did a good job to combat that, and they had us, kept us at bay for a long time, but they got some good arms. Their 3 leverage guys at the back are still available, haven't pitched. But I think that, Dylan, the key for us is the more arms we can see, I think the better for us, especially in a 5-game series.
And kind of looking back for you guys, kind of in retrospect, how big was that start by Kershaw, in the previous series in terms of, right, when you kind of look at where you guys are pitching wise compared to maybe where the Padres are right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're gonna play to win every night, but what we've got from Clayton in that game 2 was huge, and then obviously having the off days, and you want to get the best matchup, but there is a point where you got to pay a tax on that, and so I think that right now where we're at going into game 2, we feel pretty good.
Thank you.
Next question is from Pedro Mora. Go ahead.
Dave, you've talked a lot about how Muncy has still been valuable this season, even though he struggled because of his plate discipline and his willingness to see pitches. But how good was it to see him pounce on that first pitch fastball for the double in the 6th inning?
It was good. I mean, I can tell Max how much confidence I have in him and how much I trust him, and he's helping us win baseball games by controlling the zone, getting on base with a walk. But for a hitter to still hit the gap, split a gap, left on left, that's still huge, and to catch a couple barrels. So I think Max is in a really good place mentally and mechanically.
Thanks.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
I'm good. I just left my hand up. Thanks.
Next question is from Michael Duarte. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. So Walker Buehler says that when things speed up on him and he loses and struggles command, which has happened, happened in the NLDS last year, happened in Atlanta a couple of years ago, and he referenced that oftentimes maybe a trip to the mound can stop him and kind of settle him down and let him slow down, excuse me. Was that with the Mark Pryor visit there when he loaded the bases in the 2nd?
It was just one of those things that he was stressed, and you want to kind of hit pause for a little bit, give him a chance to regroup, catch his breath, and Mark just obviously has a great visit, and he regrouped and made some pitches. So Walker's just got really good feel for situations, but sometimes, an intervention is a good thing as well.
Thanks.
Next question is from Eric Steven. Go ahead.
Dave, in the 9th, when you brought in Kenley, what went into the decision to bring him in with 1 out in the inning as opposed to starting it?
Well, I think it's just I thought Blake was throwing well. I loved Blake against Pham, who's a high ball hitter, and I love the sinker. And I think that as far as we look out this series and beyond, managing everyone's workload and getting them in the best spots is important. And so now to take away an out for Kenley to now get 2 outs, and he'll be more fresh for tomorrow. And so I think that I just feel it gives us the best chance not only to win tonight but also looking out.
And how did Victor Gonzalez look? I know, obviously he didn't start the year on the roster, but he sort of played his way into a bigger role. How did he look tonight?
He looked great. Victor looked great. I just love the way the ball comes out. Got ahead of Grisham in that second, his last hitter he faced. Then just left a slider up, but the stuff was really good.
Thanks.
We got time for one more. Go ahead, Willie.
Hey, Dave. Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. Cody earlier talked about the resiliency and just said that the players felt like it was just a matter of time. When you're sitting there as a manager and your team doesn't get a hit until the 6th and drawing walks, leaving guys on base, the patience you have to not be too quick to pull the trigger on anything really and just let your guys do their thing. What's going through your thoughts here, knowing how important this game is?
I think it's you said it. It's patience and trusting your players. And I think for me, I saw that each guy was taking good at bats, and I just believe that if they continue to do so, we'll break out. So that's kind of that. And as far as Cody, I just appreciate the way he might not feel perfect mechanically, but he's in there every single at bat fighting, trying to win pitches. And you saw tonight, created some stress running down the line, the air, and that kind of broke things open. got an infield hit later. So the fight's there, and he's helping us win baseball games.